It's The Loan Show on KSRO with George Adair. Call in with your questions now at 636-1350.
Hey, good afternoon, Sonoma County. Thanks for tuning in to The Loan Show. My name is George Adair. I'm here every Wednesday at 12:30 to 1 o'clock taking your calls about everything mortgage and real estate, hoping I can help guide you through the troubled waters of the housing market and the mortgage market. Part of the Ask the Expert series here at KSRO. You can find our podcasts at ksro.com as well under the Ask the Expert. Who's the expert? This guy, self-proclaimed. I got two thumbs pointing at me.
Yep, it works real well on radio, George.
Oh, we don't have that. We don't have the streaming video set up yet.
No, we don't. Not yet.
I thought that's what that hole in the wall was over there. A secret camera looking at me streaming.
No, that's just some sort of thing that Jackson probably damaged the studio.
Okay, folks, close your eyes. Imagine me pointing at myself. I am the expert, self-proclaimed. I get to plaster my name on this show, and I get to take your questions and help you with my nearly 10 years experience in mortgage lending. I'm here to help you guys. Give us a call, 636-1350. The number live in the studio, 636-1350. Let me answer your questions about things that you don't want to talk to your personal banker at Chase or Wells or B of A or Citi. You don't want everyone looking at you when you talk about, hey, you're thinking about walking away from your house. Maybe you're not sure how to get back into a house, and you don't want to tell that person at the desk who has less than 6 months of lending experience about your personal situation. You know that the big banks are a great place to learn how to present financial products, but they don't really give you the biggest perspective on how to reach your own personal goals of qualifying for a loan. And, hey, how do you get in and out of a mortgage that may or may not be working for you? We do that here live in the studio, 636-1350. 636-1350. Folks, a lot of stuff happening in the news today. Just before I came on, there was some talk at the Fed. People at the Fed are talking. Whenever that happens, the markets get a little shaken up. Didn't get too shaken up today yet that I could see. Basically, everyone is watching Europe, and that, it's sad that a small, very small country like Greece with GDP less than probably like the state of Texas or something has an impact on the entire world financial system. But, hey, we're watching rates all the time, and rates are really good. I think they're going to be good for a long time, Michelle. And I think people should be looking at this as a really good time to be buying a house or maybe even refinancing the house they have right now. I work at Bay Equity Home Loans. We're on the corner of 4th and E in downtown Santa Rosa. That's 4th and E across from the library, surrounded by a couple other banks. But I think we're a good alternative for those folks who are looking to refinance or to buy a house. It's interesting. There's this talk in the news today, this week, about how Chase has lost $2 billion.
Right.
Chase and banks lose shareholder money all the time. And I actually don't really think that that's as big of a problem as Fannie and Freddie losing $100 billion. People don't realize that, hey, Chase lost $2 billion, and sure, they were part of TARP. I think they've paid back a lot of the TARP funds. But Fannie and Freddie, that's taxpayer money. Those are government entities, folks. So you want to go out and throw representing the 99% sign out, on Santa Rosa Avenue and go march in front of Chase. Well, wait a sec. Chase doesn't own 70% of all mortgages out there. The U.S. taxpayer does through Fannie and Freddie. So we're not hearing that in the news. I think that there's some political agenda, and I think that the news is not really talking about the real issues. And the real issues are, how do we get back to a free market? How do we get the government out of our pockets because of regulation, of Dodd-Frank? There's some new banking initiatives that are supposed to have been rolled out that haven't been rolled out yet. Some have been rolled out, and it's making the cost of borrowing more expensive, which gets passed on to the consumer. So, folks, take a more global perspective. Don't just look at the $2 billion headline and say, oh, my goodness, somebody lost $2 billion at Chase. They lost somebody's shareholders' money, not your money. Unless you're owning a lot of stock in Chase, you're not really impacted by Chase's bad investment decision. Chase is already too big to fail. We've already proven that the government's going to bail out banks like Chase. Okay? That's just some perspective for you, folks. That's what I like to do, is give you real perspective. But, hey, let's talk about your microeconomy. Call me at 636-1350. Are you trying to modify your mortgage? Are you trying to refinance it? Do you need some help? Maybe you're working with somebody who's not answering your questions. Maybe it's been a little while since you've heard from them. Give me a call. Let's see if I can't give you some direction here. There's also some more news about HARP 3.0. Senator Feinstein's HARP 3.0. Senator Feinstein is supposed to be rolling out, or actually, I think she's already introduced legislation for what would be affectionately called HARP 3.0 and help millions and millions of homeowners. These would be people who do not have government-backed mortgages. So if you have a loan and you've been trying to modify it, or you've been trying to refinance it, you've called Bay Equity and we couldn't help you out because it wasn't owned by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, the next round of HARP 3.0 could be the answer. I still get surprised when people, as much as I talk about it and as much as we play the HARP sound effects, Michelle, which are so eloquently placed, I will say.
Thank you.
People still don't know what HARP is, and you should know what HARP is. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, give us a call. I'll tell you. 636-1350. That's our number here. Press Democrat posted an article today talking about stronger home sales. Home prices are up 8% April over April, so over the last year. I wasn't extremely impressed with what that means. If you read the article from the Press Democrat, it's talking about the statistics, and it says that home prices were up nearly 8% since April of last year, but they were higher in May of last year. So April was lower than May, so unless May increases another 8% or so, then we're still flat. That doesn't mean a lot, folks, but here's what it does mean. It means that maybe the bottom is in sight. Maybe those people who've been standing on the sidelines trying to figure out their opportunity to jump into the market, maybe now is that time. We've been walking down this tunnel trying to figure out, where's the light? Is it a train coming, or is it the light at the end of the other side of the tunnel, right? Well, I don't think it's the train coming anymore.
Okay.
I think that there's light there, and I think there's opportunity. And where you go with that is going to be up to your own personal situation. And so what this means to you is you need to learn how to play the real estate game. The real estate game is a term that has been used and has had many different meanings to people, investors, and homeowners over the last 10 years. I did a loan for somebody about 8 years ago, and I will never forget this. I was talking to her, and she was frustrated about some part of the process to buy a house. And I was talking to her husband while they were at the signing table on the phone. And basically, I said, I'm sorry. That is the real estate game. And I could hear her yell at him, is he calling this a game? And she was offended. And she didn't need to be offended. It is just called the game. So, anyways, it sounds like we have some callers calling in. We've got a few people calling in, so please be patient while we answer those lines. And if you have a question, we're live here at 636-1350, 636-1350. So let me talk about the game. Home prices are up, or flat at least, and going up. That means you should be looking at jumping into the market, okay? Median home price is about $345,000. If you put 20% down, you can qualify for a non-owner occupied investment loan. Now listen up, folks. If you've never had an investment property, you might have a hard time qualifying until today. Bay Equity has a program. Bay Equity Home Loans, where I work, the branch I manage, has a program where you can qualify using rental income on a property you don't even own yet.
Whoa.
Yeah. So let's say you go buy a house in Santa Rosa, and your payment's going to be $2,000 a month, and let's say you can rent that out for $2,000 a month. As long as the rental survey supports that, we can add that to your qualifying income.
That's great.
It is great. People should be buying investment properties right now. Yeah. So we can help you with those strategies at Bay Equity Home Loans. I have loan officers standing by that want to take your calls at our office. So grab a pen, write down this number. It's 583-8100. Call us at Bay Equity. That's 583-8100. We'll tell you how to get into one of these investment properties and how to play the real estate game. It's hard to determine when the best time to buy a house is. And it's hard to figure out what to do when you do want to buy the next house, right? So here's what you do. First off, you listen to me every Wednesday at 12:30, and I will tell you the newest trends that are going on in Sonoma County, okay? This is different than going on the internet and reading the news. This is like, hey, what's happening here in Sonoma County? Inventory is low. Supply is low. Prices are high. How do you navigate through that? You need a really good realtor, okay? There's thousands of realtors in Sonoma County. I don't recommend you go to your cousin Larry or your uncle or your aunt who dabble in real estate. You need to go with a professional. I have screened out a handful of real estate professionals that I will recommend you work with. And then you can interview them and choose who you think is the best solution. Okay? So that's the first step, is working with Bay Equity to get pre-approved and then finding a realtor. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a quick call from Jane. Jane, are you on the line here?
Yes, James.
Oh, James, I'm sorry. Hey, James, what can I do for you?
I have a question. I'm trying to do a modification on a rental property, and they told me I was not eligible, but they said that they're going to send me information that I may be eligible for.
Can you say that last part? You may be eligible for what? You're breaking up, James.
Oh, is that better?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a rental property, and they told me I did a modification, and they told me that I was not eligible, but I might be eligible for another program.
Okay. Who's the lender? Chase. Okay. We're going to head to break, James, but real quick, let me answer your question. There was a settlement that was recently agreed upon between 49 state attorney generals and 5 major loan servicers. Chase was part of that, I believe. And they may have a new program coming out. Bank of America just announced it, and we talked about it last week. So what I would do is I would definitely get that information from them, read through it, and then we can help you interpret it. If you give us a call at the office, the number is 583-8100. That's 583-8100. Show us your paperwork. We'll give you our interpretation of it. Otherwise, there may be the HARP program. As a non-owner-occupied property, an investment property, James, you may be eligible for HARP. So with just a few minutes of your time, call our office, and we can tell you if you're eligible for HARP, okay? So we're going to run to break. I'm sorry I had to cut you off. You had a bad connection, James. Keep your calls coming. 636-1350 is the number here in the studio. 636-1350. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
To find out more about Bay Equity Home Loans, call George Adair at 707-583-8100. That's 707-583-8100.
Hey there, Sonoma County. If you're paying over 5% for your mortgage, or maybe you're underwater with your mortgage, you need to stop and listen to this message. I'm George Adair with Bay Equity Home Loans here in Santa Rosa. We're helping homeowners save hundreds every month and thousands every year. Today's low fixed rate is only 3.875%. You heard me right, 3.875%. Call Bay Equity today at 583-8100. Don't delay. Call us today at 583-8100. We can show you how refinancing into a low fixed rate can save you thousands on your mortgage. Please call 583-8100 and call and ask about the new refinance program for homes that are underwater. The time for a low fixed rate home loan is now. Bay Equity is your home for loans. Call us at 583-8100.
30-year fixed rate APR 4.09. Licensed by the Department of Corporations number 60.